Hi everyone and welcome back to the Crafty Yellow Camper. Excuse me. Today I've got a card for you using the Golden Greenery stamp set. If you've watched my unboxing, you'd have noticed that I showed you this and the dies and the papers and the vellum. It's actually an online exclusive, so it's not in the new seasonal catalogue. But if you go online, then you'll find it on there. There's a stamp set, there's a set of dies, and there are some design series papers and some vellums, which are really lovely, and I'll be showing you those in another video. Right, so this is the card that we're going to make today. It's basically, it's just a really simple stamping card. I've blinged it up a little bit with a little bit of Wink of Stella, but I don't know if you'll be able to catch that online. But it's got a very simple greeting inside, so there's plenty of room to write. I have raised the front panel up, but I'm going to show you how I made it. Yeah, so let's get started. Oh, one thing I should probably say is that I do like to decorate the envelopes, and I always forget. Now I've got green ink on that and I'll sort that out later. But I always like to add a little bit of decoration to the envelope. So let's move that one to one side and I'll talk you through what I've got. So my base card is half of an A4 sheet cut across in cherry cobbler. So that's basically 14.8 by 21. Okay, and that's just scored and folded in half. I've got two pieces of Very Vanilla, one for inside and one for the front of the card. Okay, so let's get started. Oh, something I just wanted to show you. Sometimes when your blades are starting, oh, I don't know if you're going to be able to see that or not, whether I can get it to zoom in. When your blades are starting to get a little bit worn, you sometimes end up with a rough edge where you cut. And if you want to get rid of it, the easiest way is to go over the piece of cardstock with your bone folder. You can see I have actually already stamped that, but I'm going to do it again on the other side so that you can see how the stamps come together. So I'm just going to move some stuff out of the way, so I've actually got some room and really need a bigger desk, but that's not going to happen anytime soon. Okay, right, so the first thing we're going to do is stamp the fronds. Now I mentioned before in my unboxing video, but in case you didn't see it, this is a two-step stamp set. So for each piece there are two stamps that coordinate together, and today we're using the fronds and the small bells. Oh, and the berries actually. So I'm going to start with doing the fronds. So there are two stamps. They're photopolymer, so this is why I've got a stamp mat on my desk and I've got a piece of scrap paper on top, just to stop me stamping all over the stamp mat, because the kind of thing that I do and then I forget I've done it and then I get ink on everything else. But anyway, so this is the base stamp, sort of more of the outline, and then this is the fill-in stamp, if you like. So I've got two shades of green. I've got Mossy Meadow and I've got Old Olive. Now the general rule of thumb with two-step stamping sets is that you stamp the background in the paler colour and then add the detail in the darker colour. Doesn't always follow, but it does work for this. So I'm just going to stamp my background fronds. I'm doing 3. Two there, and we're going to have a third one over here. Okay, so I'm going to put that ink away, and then so that's our Old Olive, and I'm now going to bring in the Mossy Meadow, which is darker, not hugely but enough. Okay, so I'm going to ink my stamp up, and then it's just a case of lining it up. Now, to be fair, this stamp set is quite forgiving. But I like the fact that it gives you that more 3D effect. And don't try and line it up absolutely perfectly, because they don't. So I tend to go for like the top and the bottom end, if that makes sense. So I'm lining up the stalk at the top here, and then sort of this bottom bit here. But they're made to complement each other rather than being, you know, straight one over the other. Okay, so that's our greens. And then for the bells, I'm doing the small bell. Both work the same way. So this is the small bell that we're doing. So that's the 2 pieces for that, and that's the bigger bell. But today we're going to use the smaller bell. So for this, I did a little bit of experimentation. So I've got wild wheat, which can look a nice goldy colour, and I've got crushed curry. I had a sort of a bit of a play with the other yellowy colours we've got, and these were the 2 that I preferred. So I'm going to go again palest colour first. So we're going to go in with the background of the bell, and we're going to hang one there and another one there, and then the third one's actually going to hang from in there. Now I've used 3 fronds, 3 bells, because it's always a good idea when you're stamping to have odd numbers. So 1, 3, 5, that kind of thing. Okay, 3 bells is enough for anyone. Right, so I'm coming in with the detail stamp now, and this one is a little bit trickier to line up. Now this used to, when we sold the Stamparatus, which unfortunately we no longer carry, but anybody that's got it, it's actually really easy to use a stamping platform to line this kind of stamp set up, because you can lay the photopolymer stamp over the top of the first image, make sure you've got it in the right place, and then pick it up with the plate. So for those of you that have a Stamparatus, I do still have one, but you know, this one was fairly easy to eyeball. But if you find you have trouble lining it up two-step stamps, then the stamping platform is your friend. Okay, now we're going to add some berries. Now I'm not doing these with the 2-step stamping. There is a 2-step version. So there's the more filled in and then the top shape. But I'm just going to go in with the filled in one. And I'm doing this in cherry cobbler. Trying not to get cherry cobbler everywhere. Now the other nice thing about this stamp set is that all these main images have dies that cut them out. So you could, if you wanted to, I'm just going to show you, you could stamp this, the bell, and the berries as well. And then there is, that's the die for the frond, and then that's the small bell, and then you've got these dies here for the berries. So you could do it exactly the same card without actually doing any stamping, because you could die cut the pieces. I mean, obviously the fronds look nicer if you stamp those and die cut those, so the choice is yours. So that's our front, and before we put the card together, I'm just going to bring the middle in. And I'm actually using the Merry Christmas from the Reindeer Fun stamp set. This Golden Greenery doesn't actually have any sentiments in it. It's just images. But that's fine because we've got plenty of seasonal greetings. Right, so I'm going to eyeball that. Hopefully that's straight. So that's our greeting, Merry Christmas. Now, top tip, when you're using thin greeting stamps like this, try really hard not to rock the block, because you'll end up with ghosting, and don't over ink it because you'll end up with extra ink around the outside. Okay, so that's our insert. Now, quite often I do stamp bits and pieces on the insides, but I'm not going to on this one because I want plenty of room to write. My family is getting bigger and bigger. Not mine personally. My daughter's got 2 daughters. My son, obviously, and a husband. And my son has now got a partner, a dog and a cat. So sometimes when I'm writing Christmas cards, I need quite a lot of space to get everyone's names in. Okay, so that's that. Now, you could stick this directly down to the front. If you're going to post it, that would be my recommendation, is to just stick that down flat like that. The other card that I made, I actually used some dimensionals, but this one we are going to stick it down flat. It's always handy to have cards that can go in the post. We have something called the Scouts Post in the UK, or in the area of the UK that I live in, and basically it helps the scout groups raise money. Saves me a little bit of money on postage. They deliver in and around the area that I live, and lots of different scout groups get together and they all work together basically, and it is just easier to have things that are thinner rather than everything raised up. So here we are again. So here's our card that I showed you to begin with, and here's the one that we stamped together, and you can see they're very slightly different, but a really nice simple card to make loads of. If you, like me, when I'm making my Christmas cards, I tend to make 10 of one design, then I get bored and I change it around. But anyway, okay, so there's our 2 cards. Hope you like it, and I hope you'll give it a go. Nice, really simple card that is easy to make lots of. You can stamp everything. You know, if I made 10 of these, I'd stamp the fronds 10 times, and then I'd stamp 10 lots of bells, but you get the gist. Anyway, so that's it for today, and I hope you like the card, and I hope you'll give it a go. And if you haven't already seen this Golden Greenery set, there are some really nice images in here, really nice dies, and yeah, give it a look if you haven't seen it. Okay, I'll be back soon with another video using this set and some of the extra bits that go with it as well. Okay, that's it for me, and I'll see you all again soon. Happy stamping.